This intuition is a few details about the passport system, immigration, and martial law. Someone reached out directly and said, I'm having a lot of fear about renewing a passport for someone I care about. Should I renew the passport now, or should I actually wait until it absolutely needs to be done? When I report to you on these authoritarian times that we're in, I often remind you that the shape of our situation is fundamentally an economic one. So if you see the authoritarian government do anything that is about immigration or about lawmaking, it is always eventually about money. Either how do I placate the people who voted me in, who were worried about the economy, by blaming it on immigrants and poor people and saying, we're gonna go get them. And sometimes also it's being done as a quid pro quo, as with the tariffs. A lot of people have made the point of like, Trump is putting a tariff on every single country and then is going to make shady backdoor deals with individuals and extract prices from them. So when I ask Spirit what you should do, they are showing me the moon. They are saying, this is a moon journey for you. The things that you are intensely fearful about within this authoritarian situation are very individual to you. And of course, they're individual to your life situation and your details, but they're also individual to your emotional system. And I feel that your worry about passports has more to do with your life experience and like some emotional pain and fear that needs to be processed through. They showed me this thing I know about kids, which is kids tend to dream more about wolves and more about monsters than adults do. Dreams is one of the ways that we process through fear, and that's why adults dream about taxes and kids dream about monsters. Also, kids have way better imaginations and are more in touch spiritually than adults usually. So again, the message is your fear about this has more to do with you than to do with the outer situation. Spirit is saying the best time to have done this passport thing would have been last year if it was possible. If you do it now, it's actually gonna draw more attention to your situation than you want. So I think the second best option would be in 2 years or whenever the actual expiration is. This administration has most of its strength front loaded, and they're only going to lose steam and lose power, not gain it. That's why you saw them making such swift action, because they know that the courts are going to interfere, that people are going to figure out how to stop them. And they had to get a bunch of stuff done all at once while they could. So if you do it now, you're more likely to draw attention to yourself, especially right now while the administration still has some bite and some collective support. I know your fear is that as time goes on, the martial law will get worse. That's not what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing a weakening of the central government. Again, all of these issues are essentially economic, and in 2 years, the country is going to be in much worse financial condition. So my advice is wait. You asked if it's normal to be dreaming intensely. I think that your dreams are part of the fear processing for you. And I've had a little bit more intense dreaming than I usually do. I don't know if others can maybe report on that. I pulled a card asking what you should do about this situation. And in addition to the moon, I got the world. I think that this is a direct suggestion to look at other options for places to live, be open to exploring the world, and also be open to the idea that there is more for you somewhere else, not just here. I've gotten a couple new intuitions just recently that I'll go ahead and tack on here for your information. The first is that we are very clearly going into a depression. I think that it's going to be economically worse than I was seeing before. And Spirit said, in some ways, worse than the Great Depression. And the answer I got was, ultimately, this is good. Like, ultimately, it is a slate clearing, an opening, being brought into wisdom, like clearing away some systems that aren't working anyway. But in some ways, people will suffer more because people have less skills to take care of themselves now. People are not able to sew like they were in the Great Depression. People might not know how to garden or make themselves food. And so the gap between those skills and needing to build those skills is going to be I think a lot for people. The picture that I've consistently got is not the government controlling everyone and there being martial law. It is the opposite of that. It is no one being there for you from the government. Communities being on their own. No financial assistance, no food assistance, no help from the central government, but also no control from them. So kind of get ready to be on your own. Build strong community. Those are the people who are going to be able to teach you the skills. What is the slate that's being cleared in this spaciousness? It is all the vital support systems that we need to build for human well-being, healthcare, jobs and work that are not oppressive and extractive, real democracy, creating an economic system that doesn't inherently hurt the environment the more money you spend, a reorganization of technology and using technology for human well-being rather than capitalism. And then speaking of sort of reincarnation and soul planning, a lot of souls are going to take their exit during this time. There are a lot of souls on this earth that came here to enjoy capitalism and like post-World War II. And those of us who were designed for the new energy are going to be excited to stay around. But a lot of those people that are really kind of a bummer anyway, and they were designed for the former energy underpinning, they're going to go ahead and leave. They're not going to like the changes that come out of this. As I always tell people, this is a process. We are taking apart a vacuum cleaner. And if you have never taken the vacuum cleaner apart, I know that it's scary when it is in pieces because how can we vacuum the house with no vacuum cleaner? But if you've taken it apart before, if you've been in pieces as a person, as I have, you know that this is a process. We put the vacuum cleaner back together. And when we do, it works better than it did before. So we have to be able to bridge this middle part where it can be scary and it can be unpredictable, but it is a very necessary ironing out that needs to be done. And not everyone's going to want to stay around for this. Spirit's also very clear. Don't take preemptive actions. Don't try to predict what's going to happen. Just make a move when the situation tells you to make a move. Just move when it gets a little too warm in the spot that you're standing. Also, this is random, but I was sitting in silence yesterday and I was like, there's going to be an assassination attempt on Trump. And I can't tell if it's successful. Knowing this man, he is too lucky for that. But whether or not it is successful, it doesn't change anything that's going to happen to the country economically. I'm getting that the damage has already been done. And the rallies that the stock market is making is more for the powers that be, the big institutional powers, to sell their stocks at a relatively higher price. So don't be investing right now. It's not a good idea. The market is going to go down and much further down if we still have a stock market in a few years. Don't try to hoard things. Don't try to guess what you should be buying. Gain skills. Learn how to garden. Learn how to mend things. Maybe have some solar panels. There's another intuitive that I really respect who's talked about long-term power outages. But yeah, I think that I'm pretty much done. Y'all can let me know what your questions are.